Hi guys, this is Paul again. I've got another video to show you and I'm calling this the quad step 3D bonding geometry. In the last couple of years I've been putting a lot of research into a system I call quad step. I realize this is all new stuff and it's definitely not wanted by the intellectuals because I'm only getting 1 or 2 views. And I'm not getting any comments. I've been given the silent treatment. Anyway, what can you do about it? This is the system. Anyways, in front, I'm showing you how the 118 elements can be produced by using CubicWonder and quad step ring system. I guess this has never been accomplished by the mathematicians, because they only want to concentrate on 2-dimensional equations. They want to avoid 3-dimensional work. So I guess this is probably the reason why my work is rejected and given the cold shoulder and nobody's making any comments. Anyways, let's get back to CubicWonder. In front I'm showing you the cubes of Plato cubes and Bucky cubes in a pyramid shape in 3 dimensions. Now this CubicWonder system in front is made up of Plato cubes and Bucky cubes, and they are integrated. They're all in the same system. It's just like male and female all combined in one system. Now anybody can go to my channel, the Paul TM channel on YouTube, and you can see all the videos on CubicWonder that I put out 14 years ago. Now, after many years of research on 3-dimensional geometric order, I come up with quad step. Now, I've put quite a few videos on quad step on the Paul TM channel. So if anybody wants to get more information, you'll find it on that channel. So I've added the quad step ring system to this CubicWonder pyramid. Now this quad step hierarchical system is a wonderful system of order. And this too has been given the cold shoulder and the silent treatment, and nobody's making a comment. Now what I've shown so far is that it seems to match up to the 118 cubes. So there's 118 elements. But what I'm showing here is a 4-fold system. Let's take a look at this in the top view. Now you can see in the top view that the quad step sequence is aligning perfectly to the vertices of the cube. Now to show the chemistry, we need to look at a 3-fold system and a 4-fold system. So this has got me thinking, if we use 12 instead of 16, we can divide by 3 and we can divide by 4. So let's take a look at the 12. So we'll start this by rotating 8 Plato cubes along its long diagonal axis. Okay, the next job is to hide the cyan, red and blue octahedron pieces. And now we can show the yellow pyramid assembly. And this shows the quad step rings around the vertices in a sequence of 1, 12, 24, 36 and 48. Now if you look at each of the yellow pyramids, you see that it contains a green octahedron. And now I'm going to bring in the purple pyramids, and that will contain a white octahedron. And you can see as it's turning around that the quad step rings are in the reverse sequence this time. Now these 3-sided pyramids are actually tetrahedrons. So the next job is to show a dual tetrahedron, the Star of David. So to do this I need to merge 2 3-dimensional assemblies together. and if there's any order it should be okay. And as you see in front, we are showing a perfect Star of David, and there's no chaos about this three-dimensional system. And I think the chaos theory pushers that reject my work for publishing can know what to do with the chaos. Okay, I've shown the Plato internal geometry. Let's take a look at the Bucky internal geometry. And we'll start by rotating 8 Bucky cubes around the vertical axis. Okay, the Bucky slicing is a lot different to the Plato slicing. Now if you watch in front, she's slicing down and making hexagons, just like carbon fiber. And this slicing goes from the top vertex to the bottom vertex of the 8 Bucky cubes. The top piece is a section of the white and green octahedron, and the bottom is the white piece of the same octahedron. Now what's amazing about this is that she reverses and she uses the yellow color, and this will keep on slicing till it gets to the top using the yellow. Now I found something interesting. When making the Plato tetrahedral sequence, it used the quad step sequence, starting with 12, 24, 36 and 48. But the rings on this Bucky slicing is different. The diameters are different. It doesn't follow the quad step sequence. So the rings on the balls are different to the Plato system. I would say that a whiz kid in molecular structure of chemistry should find this a very interesting find, because this 3D geometric order is probably very, very useful for the molecular structure and for chemical bonding, because I don't think any of this stuff is going to come out of chaos theory equations that doesn't give us a 3D element to work with. I think the next step is to show you how the Bucky and Plato cubes are orientated together, because it's kind of confusing to figure it out. Okay, let's start this with 4 Plato cubes and a Bucky cube. And we'll move the Bucky cube vertex always go to the center of the Plato cube, and the Plato vertex goes to the center of the Bucky cube. I'll just show you the Bucky cube and the Plato cube together. Now I'm going to show you 2 24-ball quad step rings around the vertices of the Plato cube. Now if you look, the cube outline of the Plato and the Bucky cube are the same. So we can copy the 24-ball quad step rings from the Plato cube to the Bucky cube. Okay, I'll make a copy of that Bucky cube and move it apart. Now what I've done is that working in 3 dimension, I've drawn circles around the faces of the Bucky cube. Now each one of these rings around the faces of the cube pass through the center of the balls of the quad step rings. So now I'm only going to keep the balls on these secondary rings. So using this method, I can produce the balls and rings on each vertex of the cube as I show. I think I'm going to call these secondary rings descendant rings, because they basically related to the quad step rings. Anyways, I think this is a very important feature in 3-dimensional order. I think I'll show you another example of this feature. We'll start this with the tetrahedron pyramid, and this one comes from the Plato cubes, and it starts with the quad step 1, 12, 24, 36 and 48 in a perfect sequence. Now for this I only need one cube with a tetrahedron. Now working in 3 dimension, I'm going to put 3 rings on the faces of the 3 tetrahedrons as shown. I also added 3 rings on the base, but you can't see them. Now look what happens when I extract a copy of the pyramids with 6 rings. So now we can focus on that pyramid that we've just made, and we give it a spin around to take a look at it. Now you can see in front that we've extracted the correct color balls for these tetrahedrons. Isn't that something? So I think I've showed you something new again, and it's a lot better than chaos. Anyways, for those people that think order is better than chaos, this is Paul saying thank you very much for watching my video.